It is hard to ignore some of the troubling reports seen daily that span all along the West Coast. How a place with 58,000 homeless people can continue to function. The investigation revealing trash littered across every block says the Golden State has the worst quality of life in the nation.
Cast out the devils, he heals the sick, and he raises the dead.
The greatest opportunities in human history are here upon us. That's the good news we've got tonight.
Psalm 89. O Yahweh, God of hosts, who is mighty as you are, O Yahweh, with your faithfulness all around you.
Conference is about activating your faith, divine reversal, and a divine reversal in a blessing way.
Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here, the Watchmen, and we're here this morning on a Sunday morning here in the States. I think it's Sunday night over in Britain, London, England, where Mark Sutherland is joining us. Mark, thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolute pleasure, and good afternoon from London, my brother.
Good afternoon. So what I want to do first here, Mark, I want to just let people know, get busy, folks. You want to come to the California conference. It's in Orange County, California, Irvine, right across the street from John Wayne Santa Ana Airport. Beautiful hotel, the Hilton John Wayne Airport, right there. I mean, you can literally walk across the street to the hotel. Phenomenal lineup of speakers. Some new people coming on board. Go to hearthewatchmen.com. But you need to do it now because we sold the hotel out. We have got another hotel next door with extra rooms. We are pushing the Hilton to give us more rooms. You can probably still get the rooms at a discount, but you need to go now. If you want to go and stay at that hotel at least, you need to book your room, book your tickets now. Here, the Watchmen, MEN.com. Use the promotional code Mike20 and save yourself $20 off a ticket. You know, before Mark and I get into what happened this week here on this side of the pond and over there on that side of the pond, I just want to say to you people, listen, there's hope for everyone out there. I just came out of a very, very dark place. And do not send me an email saying, Mike, where was that dark place? It doesn't matter, okay? I went through something very tough, and it took 2 days, and I'm not kidding you, I slept for only 2 hours, 2 days of constant prayer and fasting to break through the stronghold, and I worked with Mark, my brother Mark, and a couple other people that I'm close to praying to get through it. And I just want to let you know that there's hope, no matter what you're going through. If you're going through something right now and you think there's no way out, I guarantee you there's a way out, and that way is Jesus. All you need to do is email me, Mike Kerr, Kerr, 777 @gmail.com. Just let me know what's going on with you. You don't have to give me the specifics. Don't ask me the specifics on my side. But let's just talk about how we pray and how we get through the difficult times, because it could be anything. It could be you just couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Who knows? But let's talk about it. Mark, this week, another week that was just off the hook. Crazy. I mean, here in the United States, I have never seen such a demonic spirit in politics as I have during the last few months. I mean, and of course, who is spearheading it? The four horsewomen of the apocalypse. We all know now who they really are, but the two key factors in that are Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Omar. And you know, I don't know what to say, folks. I mean, we've gone through this whole thing here this past week where we all started chanting, basically, send them back to where they came from. Hey, I've got no problem with that. Today, President Trump went out and talked about Omar and said she's lucky to be where she is. You know what? Amen to that. And so are all of us. We're lucky to be here in the United States. We're free. We can say what we want, except with Facebook and YouTube. But, you know, it is America. We have the right to free speech. if I want to say to Ocasio-Cortez, or, I'm not so worried about her because she's an actress and she'll blow up. But Omar, okay, if I want to tell her to get on her horse and ride back to Somalia, then I can do that. That's up to me. I can say that. So can President Trump. So we have this whole thing, Mark, here in the States right now going on where Ocasio is standing up there saying, oh, the country, President Trump is a racist and he's dividing the country by race along racial lines. Hey, girl, wake up. The United States has been racially divided since it was founded. And we've tried several times, and we continue to try and strive for racial equality. But we aren't there. I'm telling you, we're not there. But we try. Mark, what do you see with from your side of the pond, you see all this stuff going on over here. What's your read on all of it?
Well, again, it's interesting where we have had a number of people go, which I won't mention because I don't think it's even worth even going there. But it is the left, and then they turn around and go, Mr. Trump's a racist and all this kind of thing. And it's across a number of different platforms that are mainstream. There was an interesting interview on Russia Today, let's just say that, from various British commentators and ex-politicians. They are making this, they are constantly saying this. And then about the rally and saying, send them back, send them back. Well, let's just take Ilhan Omar for a start. In the fact that Dan Bongino on his radio show this week, I think it was on Friday, is talking about that someone is doing a considerable amount of investigation in regard to the allegations of how she actually entered the country, who she's actually been married to, and in regard to, potentially voter fraud as well. They are allegations that people are looking into. They will be subjects over here that people on the left will not go near. Now, the fact is, it's like, go to America, go legally. And the big objection that what people are missing here is the fact that these four women want to completely redefine your nation. They want to redefine what your nation stands for. They agree with Facebook, where they find the American Constitution offensive, which Facebook did. That's why they took it down at one point, along with all the other things. So these women are wanting to redefine what America is. They are then pushing, whether they realize it or not, and we know that in many ways they do, in regard to Talib, Presley, Omar, and that actress, that they are pushing this cultural Marxism agenda that is also over here as well. And as you know as well as I do, I've said it on many occasions, if America goes down, then the West, the free liberty within the West goes down. They do not believe in the capitalist system, Mike. We have a group over here that's just been found, some very, very interesting articles by a particular gentleman, I think, called Wharton, who is either an ex-Metropolitan Police terrorist organization, expert, not an organization, but an expert, and other people, where they've talked about a group called Extinction Rebellion, which are this whole thing of climate change, climate change being socialism in drag. They are this whole group pushing this. And that they actually believe in, it's not about climate change, it's about getting rid of capitalism. It's getting rid of that system. And to me, then we create a feudal system. And also in this article, what's very interesting is where this expert says that the police have been very, very soft with this particular organization. The reason why I'm saying this, Mike, reflecting back to you, as you very kindly asked, is that we come back to one of our favorite scriptures that says, my people are destroyed through lack of knowledge. And we have to do the research. We have to find out what these groups really are about. Is George Soros, for argument's sake, funding Extinction Rebellion, which is to cause anarchy? What else is he funding on your side of the pond where your border is under attack? Where you've got these four people talking about blanket immigration, allowing all these people to come over this border of yours with Mexico freely, be able to say, well, they need healthcare, they need this, they need that. Who pays for all of this? As you know, as we've seen with systems like Coward and Piven, which are two gentlemen, socialists and philosophy on your side of the pond, which means that if you keep overburdening the system, you will then break the system, which means that you can then change the system to what you actually want and what you believe in. And this is constant. And also, as we've said, the people that live in their areas that are supposed to be representative by these people, they need to hold these people to account, because they seem to be spending more time attacking the President of the United States than actually maybe representing the people that they have put in power to represent. And they need to be called to account. If they do not like America, what it stands for, the American Constitution written in 1787, what Donald Trump or other people are saying, then go away then, leave the country if you do not like it. You should be grateful that you are then here. There was a journalist that went back to Somalia. Somalia has some major issues, right? Yeah. A journalist went back to Somalia, doing online, going, this is delights of this village and all the rest. And then I think the end of last week, then gets killed by a load of terrorists, which is an extremely sad, extremely appalling thing. And to turn around and say, oh, this is all great. No, it's not, sadly. It's not. So in other words, you've gone to the most powerful nation in the world, right? We're outside America. People do not understand what it stands for if you are constantly looking at it through a socialist prism. It is the biggest experiment in self-governance of the people going. That's what we do not understand over here. That's what I understand. I'm trying to learn that even more. And these four women have decided it's about power. And they have decided that they do not like the country where they reside. Orange man bad and all this kind of thing. Maybe they wouldn't be saying it if Hillary Clinton was in. Actually, maybe your country may not have existed if Hillary Clinton was in. Who knows? Various missiles might have been firing across wherever. So I don't say that flippantly at all, because this is about power for power's sake. So that's my personal take on it. The left have gone loony. The left is saying Trump is this, Trump is that. As I reminded you, and the last time that we spoke, we've seen pictures of Donald Trump with Al Sharpton, with Jesse Jackson being nominated for the Rosa Parks Award. I could list other things that he has done. And this is race-baiting politics. And then the opposition to Trump would turn around and say, yes, Mark, but that's what the president is actually doing. What he's saying is, if you come to this country and all the benefits of it, then plug into the American dream. Do not undermine the American Constitution and what the country actually stands for. If you want to do that, then go elsewhere.
Amen, Mark. Well said. Now, Mark, there's some scary, scary stuff going on right now in the world. We know that. Maybe prophecies being unveiled, I don't know, but rumors of wars, earthquakes, floods, fires. We see it all today. But right now, what's the mood in the UK after Iran stole at least one of your oil tankers? What's the mood over there? You're being pulled into a war.
Well, God forbid that we are, but I hear you. The bottom line is that the guard in Iran get a helicopter, then do a YouTube video waving, go down the rope, and then land on a tanker and take it over. Saying that a tanker that we had delayed, that we had taken aside in Gibraltar, that was flying under a different flag that was trying to circumvent, in our opinion, the sanctions that we have against Iran. It's tit for tat. Yes, of course, it's extremely concerning. And we have to go through history, Mike. We have to look at the build-up to this. We have to see, remind ourselves of Mr. Obama giving pallet loads of currencies in paper money and all this kind of thing. We have to go through the fact that Europe and all the rest signed deals with Iran, okay, that would be benefiting countries like Germany, France, and ourselves, all this kind of thing, even though that they would turn around and say that there is no official treaty with Obama. We then had Kerry going around, basically needs to be arrested under the Logan Act, actually working against, saying to the Iranians, you need to talk to me, do not talk to Donald Trump. We know there is history. That history goes back to when Ronald Reagan ran for the presidency in 1980. We remind ourselves then of when it was like, with this kind of thing, the Ayatollah that was in Paris was then sent back to the Iran. They'd got rid of the Shah and all this. There is history there. There is history there of, let's be honest, of regime change and all this kind of thing. You also then had Carter, Zabrinsky, the whole thing of globalist thinking. But more importantly, you had Americans taken as hostages who were hostages in that region for a year. So there is history. There is a lot of bad blood. And at the same time, we have seen very brave Iranians last year, I believe, or was it the year before, where they are pushing for, they want to get rid of the regime. It's a very, very young country, a very young country. Sadly, many young people within Iraq and in Iran and Iraq died in the war between Iraq and Iran, 1984, around that time. So the reason I'm saying that, not to show off in history, is we have to set that all in context. And in many ways, you could argue we have sanctions against Iran. If they want to start taking our tankers, I'm actually sitting here thinking, what can we actually do other than what you have said, what you have hinted at, where suddenly it escalates into a war right now that, frankly, no one wants. No one wants that. And, and before anyone goes, well, you're not praising the neocons and all this. No, I'm not. That's the last thing we want. This is also in God's hands. And as you quite rightly say, and you and I are not date setters, we don't sit here as some kind of theological experts at all, but we're trying to see what world events are going on and whether this fits into prophecy. Don't know. But, and you and I are more than welcome, we want to be told that. We want that information coming in. Our British, Jeremy Hunt, our Foreign Secretary, can say, well, we've got a wide range of sanctions and all this kind of thing. Actually, as I've said, I'm not sure what we can do. Now, if they've got one of ours, we've got one of theirs. What are we going to do? In the Straits of Hormuz, just hand them over, just say, there you go. And also, to be fair, if we look at a spiritual context within that region and coming, say, from other parts of that region, piracy and all this kind of thing, and taking over ships is nothing new. It's not totally in that area, but if we go back to the Barbary Wars and all this kind of thing, it's nothing new. But the problem is Iran, in regard to the fact that they can produce uranium and all that, produce equipment, produce the chemicals that are needed to then load up nuclear weapons and fire at their enemies, is deeply, deeply concerning. And it is deeply concerning that under the Obama regime, the 44th president of the United States has empowered that. That cannot be denied. So, Mike, in a way, would we now see the fact that the UK has no option but to go even to the European Union to then have a discussion with the United Nations about the fact that all these sanctions need to be imposed even more if there is other sanctions that they can put on? There's not, in many ways, I'm not being negative, but there's not a lot we can do except to then try and create a situation where the world turns around and says, Iran, you can't behave like this. So that's my comment on it, my brother.
Yeah, it's frightening. I mean, it's a good time to pray, is what it is. I mean, it's a real good time.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, now, Mark, here is probably a very interesting question that I need to ask you, which is, what the heck is a guy from London doing flying to Lima, Ohio this next weekend? What in the world are you thinking?
Oh, you mean me? What am I thinking? Well, I'm thinking that I need to be preparing like mad because I feel very unprepared right now, frankly. What am I thinking? Well, I'm thinking of the fact that I'm going to be flying out to Ohio, where I've invited to go, to be at Therefore Go conference, to be at the conference that Mike Spalding is heading up with his church, which is a real privilege. It'd be great to see so many friends in the room. Why am I going? Because I care passionately about what is going on in the United States of America. I also care passionately about what is going on over here. There is a parallel link. We are at war. This is a global battle that is going on. And frankly, the biggest institution is asleep on the job, which is what we would call in the church. Right? And I've gone into little italics there because it seems to be split into... There's so much sort of, let's be frank, apostasy and falling away all over the place. So I'm coming over to meet with dear friends and meet with the remnant body and to talk about what's been happening in our politics and to talk about the parallels, etc., and why we are in this global fight, Mike. So I'm looking forward to coming over, and as I say, I'm looking forward to seeing dear friends, even though right now I'm feeling profoundly unprepared.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll do fine. Just pretend you're doing an interview with me, right? Hey,
even better.
The name of the conference is what again?
Is Therefore Go conference. Therefore Go, and the whole essence is there will be. I heard last night talking to Mike. There's a good 200 plus people that are going to be attending. There's also live streaming as well. So thereforego.com, find it on the web. Sign up for the live streaming if you can't be there. But please pray for the event. And the whole event is, as we say, like with Hear the Watchmen, this isn't about us getting together to have a little jamboree and a bless up. This is actually about us getting together to realize that we have an extremely important role to play in these days and to wake up to that. And it doesn't make us popular. We're not here for the popularity stakes, as we're finding out in the way that social media is treating one or two of us at the moment, which is a rather interesting experience. So that's what it's about, Mike. That is the conference. So Mark,
I just want to. I was looking up here because something didn't sound right. It's called GoThereforeConference.com.
I do apologize.
Go there. Well, that's okay. You're British. You reverse everything.
Yeah.
GoTherefore.com. Check it out. As Mark said, there is live streaming available of the conference, so you can avail yourself of that. Should you not be able to find Lima, Ohio, which I'm not even sure I could find Lima, Ohio, and I live here. A wonderful group getting together there. L.A. Marzulli, Russ Dizdar, Carl Gallups. It's like a Hear the Watchmen, actually. It's an opportunity to see a lot of the people that speak at Hear the Watchmen conferences. So get out there and avail yourself of it. Go therefore conference.com. Well, Mark, listen, have a blessed trip. We're going to be praying for you. Maybe if you have time, we'll get a show in next Saturday while you're there so that you can give us an update on what's going on. We'll see how that works out. But really, just be blessed. We're praying for you, and thank you for everything that you do.
Absolute pleasure. It'd be lovely to do an interview, and I do apologise for getting the conference the wrong way round, Mike.
That's okay.
Mr.
You
Spalding,
drive on the wrong. You drive on the wrong side of the street. What
And you spell.
we don't expect anything to. Yeah, right. You spell stuff.
Yeah, you spell centre wrong, and you can't even pronounce aluminium properly. But we won't go down that road. Then. Bless you, brother. We praise God for the differences. That's why we have nations.
Well, listen, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of the Watchman's Report with Mark and Mike. So please don't forget, there's nothing that you can't do with Jesus in your heart, except nothing at all. And again, if you're going through something difficult and you want to talk or want help, contact me, Mike Kerr, Kerr 777 at gmail.com. If I can't help you, I'll hook you up with someone who can. So get busy, get out there, have a blessed week. We'll talk to you next time here on the Watchman's Report.